Hi guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know, my name is Angel, and today I thought it would be really fun to do the plant debate tag. Dayla Plants recently posted a plant debate part 2, and she kind of turned it into a tag, so I thought it would be fun to sit down with a glass of wine and debate over some plant topics. So I will have both of her videos in the description box below so you can watch the originals. So without further ado, let's debate. Pothos or pathos? So for those of you who watched my very first video, you know that I have called it a pathos. And I don't know why sometimes I have an accent with certain words, and that was just one of them. And I was calling it that for a long time until one day Shane was just like, I think it's pothos. And then it hit me that every time I hear somebody talk about a golden see, I just did it again. A golden pothos, they were saying it like P-O, like pothos, like it's spelled. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow, I have been saying it wrong. I don't know if it's technically wrong, but I would have to say that I do think that it's pronounced pothos. To mist or not to mist? I definitely used to mist a lot. I was a helicopter mom and I wanted to do something with my plants every day, and misting was a great way for me to feel like I was taking care of my plants, even though it wasn't really necessary. And that is kind of my opinion on it now, is that it's not really necessary. It doesn't really boost the humidity of your plants. The only thing that I do mist now on a regular basis is my moss pole. I would have to say I'm more of a non-mister. Top watering or bottom watering?
Top watering or bottom?
I have seen people bottom water, and I understand the concept, but I don't think I would ever consider doing it as a method of watering my plants. It seems a little bit more of a hassle. Too many questions, too many variables. I would rather top water and get it over with. Not to mention that even if you were to be a bottom waterer, which obviously is a method of watering your plants, nothing wrong with it, you have to top water sometimes because the soil needs to be flushed out. So me, with the memory of a goldfish, I wouldn't remember when the last time I top watered this plant or that plant. And it would just get so confusing for me. So that's just another reason added on top of why top watering is the way for me. Common plants versus rare plants. Is there a list of rare plants that I could look at and know what is rare versus what is common? Because where I live, everything is rare to me. I would probably be a common plant owner, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't feel like I'm less of a plant owner because I don't have a collection full of rare plants. But at the same time, like, I still don't understand what constitutes a rare plant. So I don't know. I would have to just say common. Pots with drain holes versus pots without drain holes. When I first started my plant journey, I had a couple plants in pots with no drain holes, and I had a bunch of plants in pots that had drain holes, but I hadn't taken the stupid little rubber plug out of them because I'm an idiot. So I've dealt with a lot of root rot and a lot of just sopping wet soil. Like, I just don't understand why I would purposefully plant my plant in a pot with no drain holes. I would have to say, just do yourself a favor and put your plant in a pot with a drain hole. To water more less often or to water less more often? I have never been somebody to water less more often. I feel like, what's that saying? Work smarter, not harder. Maybe that's harsh for those, because obviously people do water less more often. I just want to do it and get it over with. So that is the way I've always done it, and it's worked great for me. I haven't personally seen any negative effects from watering the way that I water them, so I'm going to continue to do it. Ceramic versus terracotta. I have certainly come to love terracotta pots because I've had such an issue with root rot and my plant's soil just being sopping wet at the bottom. I feel like terracotta is kind of just like extra insurance for your plants to make sure that they're not just sitting in water, because it wicks up the excess moisture. And I like the look of terracotta. I think that they're really classic and beautiful. You don't get a variety of looks with terracotta pots, so I still buy ceramic pots when I find ones that are cute and cheap. That's another thing too, is terracotta is very cheap, but I really like to put a lot of my plants in terracotta. Daytime watering versus nighttime watering. So I'm more of a daytime waterer because I work in the afternoon and the evening time. So if I do water my plants on the days that I have to work, I tend to do it in the morning. And that's kind of my mindset, or like how I think about doing my plant care. I just kind of wake up in the morning and see what plants need to be watered, and I do it immediately. I think either is fine. I just personally don't water them at night. Leaving yellow leaves alone or cutting them off. So I'm kind of 50-50 with this. I tend to leave them if I know that they're old leaves, because I feel like it's a cycle and I know that my plant is fine. But if, like, let's say I buy a new plant that has yellowing, I usually cut those off because I want to bring in more of a fresh plant so that I know all my leaves are fine. And if one starts to turn, then I know that there's a problem. It depends, definitely situational, but more often than not, I'll just cut the leaves off. Tap water versus distilled water or filtered water. So I definitely was watering a lot of my plants with filtered water at first. I felt like my water was damaging a lot of my plants because it's really harsh water. But as my collection started to grow, it got a little bit too much of a hassle to water them all with filtered water. So I only water my begonias with filtered water because those guys are so picky and temperamental. A lot of my plants are fine with tap water, and so I just use tap water. Moisture meter or your finger? I would have to say I use both, but I probably use my moisture meter more than anything, and that's because most of my plants I don't water until they are completely dry, and it's easier to use my moisture meter to get all the way to the bottom. I know that a moisture meter isn't always accurate, so there are certain times where I will use my finger and just kind of grab some of the soil and see how it feels in my hand, or if it's getting stuck to my finger, things like that. But I probably use my moisture meter more than anything. Repot right away or wait? I probably wait when I buy a plant because I want to see if the plant is healthy and has any pests. It just kind of saves money that way, that I'm not like wasting soil. A lot of plants need to be acclimated to their new environment, and if you repot them right away, that's kind of a shock to them. So I just find that it's best to just leave them in their nursery pot. A lot of my plants stay in their nursery pot for months. I can just put the nursery pot inside a ceramic pot and have it look cute, and it's fine. buying plants you know will not do well with you. Don't do that. Just why? If you know you've killed a certain species of plant, why do you keep buying it? Like, I totally understand. I loved ferns. It was one of my first like wish list plants. And when I found it, I bought it, and then I bought another one, and I bought another one, and they all died. All of them. I can't take care of ferns. They don't like me. They don't like the conditions of my home. So I have told myself I will never buy a fern until I move somewhere. So I just look at other people's ferns and admire their beauty that way. What I have come to realize is that we change our environment to match our plants. Our plants cannot change their needs to fit our environment. It will never happen. So if there is a plant that you know will not do well in your environment, don't buy it. You're setting yourself up for failure, and that is why so many people think that they have black thumbs or brown thumbs and can't keep a plant alive. It's not the case. It's just probably not the right plant for your home. Trailing plants or climbing plants. I have to say I love trailing plants. I do have climbing plants, but I've only given my monstera something to climb, and I probably will stop there because it's a lot of work to do that kind of thing, to create a moss pole or make a trellis or what have you. That's probably why I prefer a trailing plant, because you don't have to do anything for it. Toxic plants with pets. So obviously I have dogs. I think that it's a little bit too much of a hassle to only buy plants that are known to be non-toxic, because so many plants, people don't even know if they're toxic or not. So I feel like if I were to only buy plants that are non-toxic, I wouldn't have many plants, or I would have like 2 or 3 of the same plants all over, which is nothing wrong with that, but that's not my vibe. I try to keep my plants either in areas that they won't get to, or in rooms that my pets only go into when I'm there, so they're never really alone with my plants. I don't mind getting plants that are toxic for pets. All right, guys, well, that was the end of this plant debate. Feel free to let me know if your opinions differ, or maybe we think similarly. I would love to know your guys' opinions. And again, these were just my opinions. I am not a plant expert, so this is all for good fun. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every Wednesday and Friday. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.